Argument led to gunfire in this Chick-fil-A parking lot at about 7:15. APD says a 21-year-old was shot in it and had to be rushed to the hospital, and we're told he did not survive.
APD officers shot a man, killing him near a very busy Atlanta street located right next to a Chick-fil-A Friday night. And involved in a gunfight just before 9 p.m. here at MLK in southwest Atlanta. As those bullets were flying, this nearby barbershop was caught in the crossfire.
A worker at this barbershop on Martin Luther King Boulevard says the shop was closed when gunfire shattered their window.
We're on scene of a fatal shooting near a Chick-fil-A. The shooting happened in the 800 block of MLK Drive. This is the second shooting near that Chick-fil-A in recent weeks.
From Trump at an Atlanta Chick-fil-A while he met with supporters. Watch.
I don't care what the media tells you, Mr. Trump. We support you.
We love you.
Okay?
Come here, let me give you a hug.
Please
You lit up the whole room. I said, weeks later, I'd go, who is that person that was so incredible? She knew everything about me. She had no idea I was coming.
And what I think both men and women can agree on is that national security is important. So who would y'all rather see lead us into war if it were so to happen? My silk-pressed sister Kamala or the big dog Donald Trump?
Treading carefully, Putin controls the world's largest arsenal of nuclear weapons and has already threatened anyone who might interfere.
Кто бы ни пытался помешать нам, должны знать, что ответ России будет незамедлительным и приведет вас к таким последствиям, с которыми вы в своей истории еще никогда не сталкивались.
So, Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
I watched the television coverage of just yesterday. That's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened. History has also shown us, if we only look inward, we could not defeat threats from outside. Isolation is not insulation.
But now, Putin wants to redraw Europe's map by force.
To deploy long-range missiles to Germany by 2026. To outside observers, as well as Russian President Vladimir Putin, this
border, Russian troops continued to gather. And over here, along its border with Belarus, Russia began conducting huge military drills.
Now, I know my ladies in the crowd love their body. Real hot, girl. And if you want to keep loving your body, you know who to go for. You know, Lil Hey.
To the lovely people of Wakanda, I know you will make the right choice. And as always, Wakanda forever. Paid for by Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris's campaign event in Atlanta getting the crowd hyped.
Russian troops and tanks have entered Ukraine on all fronts. All these cities are under attack, including the capital of Kyiv. Putin called this a special military operation, but it's clear this is a full-scale invasion.
Today, Kyiv stands free and strong.
There have been hundreds of casualties, and over 500,000 Ukrainians have been forced to flee their homes. Russia, that has killed 14,000 people and displaced nearly 2 million. Peaceful protests, the Ukrainian president cracked down and killed more than 100 people, sparking more protests, which eventually drove the nations have opened their borders as hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians attempt to flee.
Specifically, to set up a permanent infrastructure. And relatedly, is the United States willing to make a specific allocation for Ukrainian refugees?
Okay. A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Okay, I can first.
Begin stationing long-range missiles in Germany by 2026. A move that includes the deployment of SM-6, Tomahawk cruise missiles, and developing hypersonic weapons. These missiles, capable of traveling between 500 and 5,500 kilometers, were once regulated.
Big questions. Space, it affects us all. And it connects us all.
You guys are gonna see. You're gonna literally see the craters on the moon with your own eyes.
Oh my goodness.
With your own eyes, I'm telling you, it is gonna be unbelievable.
As they say, they not like us. And he has the ability to end it by stopping and getting out.
He's shown no sign of giving up or negotiating.
Well,
we are clear. We are not going to put U.S. troops in Ukraine to fight the Russians, not on the ground, not in the air.
If we fail to impose severe consequences on Russia, other authoritarians across the globe would be emboldened. Because you see, they will be watching. They are watching and drawing lessons.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
In these unsettled times, it is clear America cannot retreat. America must stand strong for democracy.
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets.
If Putin takes aggressive action, we are prepared to levy serious and severe costs, period. And I will tell you,
because I represent the whole of the United States of America.
And do you see any parallels?
I do not see any parallels between
I'm talking about perception.
Officers and agents.
I'm talking about perception.
I do not see a parallel between what is constitutionally mandated as it relates to enforcing the law.
Are you aware that there's a perception?
I see no.
Are you aware that there's a perception
that puts ICE in the same category as the KKK?
Particularly among immigrants, and specifically among immigrants coming from Mexico and Central America. Stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Wow. The double liquidations have the entire Middle East on an absolute knife's edge. The region is once more on the precipice of a major armed conflict.
Have the courage to object when they use that term, radical Islamic terrorism, which ignores how Muslims have overwhelmingly been the greatest victims of terror.
Things go wrong all the time. If Iran decides to coordinate an attack with its regional proxies like Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Houthis in Yemen, Israeli and American interceptions and air defense could be overwhelmed, and the chances of a deadly incident would surge. Either way, should the Iranian retaliation kill Israeli civilians or cause significant damage, Israel would likely respond with another direct strike on Iran, potentially near its nuclear facilities. Such back-and-forth escalation will eventually go terribly wrong and trigger a regional conflict involving Iran, Israel, the United States, and maybe even regional nations like the Gulf Arab states.
You think you just fell out of a coconut tree? You exist in the context.
As they say, they not like us. Whole thing about the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
But it's no laughing matter, because when she was border czar, yes, I said it, as border czar, Kamala Harris was also a mess. Like the Labour Party in Australia, she and the Democrats just don't have it in their DNA to be tough on illegal migration. In fact, she doesn't think illegal migrants are illegal at all.
Wrong to somehow suggest that an undocumented immigrant is a criminal.
Being an undocumented immigrant is not a crime.
I know what a crime looks like. An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal. 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 An undocumented immigrant is not a
Cause a lot of us to be woke. And I love it. I love it. But folks are woke, and I love it. I love it.
While in a new interview, former President Trump arguing she'll be viewed as weak by China and Russia.
I think they'll walk all over her. She'll be so easy for them. She'll be like a play toy.
Mr.
Amazing. Media Giants.